There are a lot of things that go into the behind the scenes of running a Minecraft server, whether it be updated to the latest version, bug fixes, etc. This is why most servers have quite a few admins, and a lot of the time, it's all hands on deck to keep the server afloat. So why then does one of the most infamous servers in one of the biggest video games in the world only have one? Hausemaster, the sole admin and moderator of 2 builders, 2 tools, and one of the people in the running for most hated man on his own server. But why? Why the person that brought these people their favorite pastime? Well, to put it bluntly, he's a horrible admin. And I'm not just saying that because he doesn't add the things that I want or just to go along with the herd. He is literally, objectively, a horrible admin. But how can I prove that? There's no easy way to prove that someone is a bad admin as long as they keep the server up and have a good player base. And in normal circumstances, you're right. But this is not a normal circumstance. And to those of you that say that he isn't that bad and you can't prove anything, well, you might just want to keep watching the video. Elytras were released to 2B2T with the 1.9 update, and they were the best thing ever for the player base and the worst thing ever for the admin. Elytra on their own aren't that bad, but using hacks allows them to be used in unintended ways. This allowed people to load chunks at crazy rates, lagging the server to the point that it was almost unplayable. So naturally, the server admin did the only logical thing. He loaded the speed of Elytras and oh, sorry, wrong Anarchy server. He just removed them from the game. You couldn't put them on. But it's fine. He said it would be a temporary fix. For around 2 years, until he finally re-enabled them in a way that the entire community was happy with. Hacks still worked, but they were much more limited, and while there was a fair amount of lag, 99% of the community accepted the trade-off. Until August of 2020, when he disabled them again. No, but it's fine. He only disabled the hack. You can still use Elytras normally. I said you can still use Elytras normally. I said, yeah, they didn't work, and you would constantly get disconnected. Until finally, after a group of people literally held the server hostage a few months ago, he fixed Elytras once and for all. After 4 years of back and forth. And what really annoys me is that he had the solution to fix it. He could have fixed the problem at any point. He was just too lazy to. Until people lagged the server out of existence, which cut into his profit margins. Anyways, let's move on. Book banning. Probably the most notorious exploit in 2B2T's history. Around May of 2019, people figured out that if you wrote a book with a lot of characters, then gave a shulker of that book to a player, the server would get confused by the amount of data that that player picked up, so it would kick them, and if they tried to log back on, you guessed it, kicked, essentially banning them. Players used this exploit on tons of new players, but it was eventually patched. Now if that had been the end of the story, it wouldn't have been on this list. But around October of 2019, people discovered a crazy lag exploit using these books that crashed the server. To fix this, Hausemaster had to revert the patch that fixed book banning, re-enabling it. Now again, this wouldn't be on the list if it weren't for the way that Hausemaster patched book banning once and for all. He ended up disabling the ability to see what is inside a shulker box, keeping in mind a vanilla feature that the 2B2T community heavily relied on for convenience and trade of illegal items. I didn't re-enable it until about a week ago at the time of writing this script, even though every other Anarchy server had it enabled. During that time, a good portion of the 2B2T economy was dead, all because Hausemaster was lazy, not to mention the amount of people that he priority queue banned, some even falsely. Alright, moving on. When running a Minecraft server whose sole purpose is to please your community, you'd think that the owner would be very active in the community, constantly looking for feedback. But, as these past few chapters have shown, Hausemaster seems to not care what the community thinks at all, and in a lot of situations, seems keen on trying to annoy them as much as possible. But that's not all. You'd think at the bare minimum, Haus would make announcements on the 2b2t subreddit, aka where he communicates with the community. But nope, he made a total of 1 post last year and 0 posts this year, and he has responded to a total of, you guessed it, 0 Reddit posts. The only way to get in contact with him via his email, but even that can be iffy. Now, with all these things in mind, how does he fix it? How does Hausemaster become a good admin? The good news is that Haus has already taken steps in the right direction by planning to update 2b2t to 1.16. Also, as I said, he finally fixed Elytras in .peak. But in terms of good stuff Haus has done within the past few years, that's where the list ends. However, there's a simple solution that would fix all his problems, and he would have to do even less work than he is doing now. Hausemaster should just hire a part-time developer. People estimate that Hausemaster is making up to $20,000 per month, meaning that he has more than enough money to hire a dev that interacts with the community and fixes bugs, and it would stop things like the time Hausemaster deleted all spawners that came into a player's render distance, and the time certain enchantments got removed from shears and axes, and a few more. The dev will also hopefully be able to finally fix boats, which are practically unwritable, and fix issues like Elytras and .peak slightly faster than upwards of 4 years. But hang on, what about the question that I asked in the beginning? Why does 2b2t only have 1 admin? Why doesn't he do this? It's definitely crossed his mind. Why doesn't he hire a dev? Now, piling all this together, you'd think this video would be a message about how I want Hausemaster to be a good admin, and how he can do it. But you'd actually be mistaken. The truth is, and the 2b2t community will hate me for saying this, I don't want Hausemaster to be a good admin. And I don't think the 2b2t community does either, despite how much they complain. You see, there's literally nothing that the 2b2t community agrees on, except for the server's opinion on Hausemaster. It's something that the community can consistently make jokes about without getting into an argument. It's something that people can freely talk about without people yelling at them. It's something that the community can rally with, and something that brings them together. And I know it sounds cheesy, but every community needs something like this, or else 2b2t, well, wouldn't have a community. And Haus knows this. You ever wonder why glitches that the 2b2t community likes always go away really fast? That's a clear sign that he's not just lazy, he knows what he's doing. He purposefully creates the vibe that not even the server admin is on your side. Because when you join 2b2t, you are completely alone. You don't have anyone to rely on, anyone to blame, except yourself.